Commodity TV live from the Mines and Money in London 2022, and we have here a special guest out of the Silver Cobalt space, I would call it, Matthew Halliday, the President and COO of Canada Silver Cobalt. Matthew, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Good. Good to have you here.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
How's the show so far?
It's exciting. Lots of people are here and lots of good interviews. I do a lot of the one-on-ones and it's great.
Good to hear. So you are a silver battery metals company, I would call it, with two interesting projects in Ontario and Quebec. Could you just give us an insight in the projects and in your company, please?
Sure. So the company has its projects located in Ontario and Quebec, as you mentioned. And in Ontario, we have high-grade silver and cobalt. And in Quebec, we have predominantly sulfide nickel, copper, cobalt projects. The company also has some assets to be able to process silver in the future when we get down underground. And we have a metallurgical process to be able to produce value-added products for the EV market, the battery metals. And we have a vision to become a producer.
Sounds great. So you already mentioned the high grades. So I think there's outstanding high grades. So could you give us some numbers about?
Sure.
I saw 89 kilos silver per ton, stuff like that. So just give us an insight.
Oh, just stuff like that. Yeah. No, it's true. We have the Castle East project, which is in Galganda in Northern Ontario. It's part of the cobalt mining camp. We've hit multiple panels of high-grade silver and cobalt mineralization. So we initially hit the Robinson vein, where we had up to 70,000 grams per ton, or 70 kilo per ton silver, plus we had some 0.5% type of cobalt. And then we hit the big silver vein, and that's where we had that 89,000 grams per ton over 0.3 meters with 1.5% cobalt.
Wow.
We also had our highest cobalt that went with that. We hit 53,000 grams per ton silver with 2.22% cobalt in that vein, what we call big silver. And most recently, I'm very excited about, we just press released, we hit 4,700 grams per ton. So yeah, it's not in that 40,000, but 4,700 grams per ton at 50 meters depth. And most of our mineralization is at around 400 meters depth. Okay. So I'm really excited about trying to develop a new panel closer to surface. And hopefully we can be bulk sampling a near surface sample in advance of getting down to the 400 meters target, and it opens up a new corridor.
Good. So you also have a high-grade mill there. So is this ready for processing, and what's the capacity of this high-grade mill?
The capacity is low. It's maybe 100 tons per day or in that range. It depends on the specific circuit, but it is specifically designed for high-grade mineralization. It was actually developed by the Government of Ontario earlier on, when there was a lot of mining companies in the region, and they serviced these different mining companies. So the mill operated for many companies, and including Teck and Agnico used this mill, and it could produce multiple million ounces of silver per year. And so there is a ball mill and a cone crusher, and there's a bullion furnace. And most recently, we've added a gravity concentration line. And that's brand new. So we have a Falcon concentrator in there, and it's functional.
Okay, so you had a great drill success there in the past. What are plans for 2023? Drilling plans.
The drilling plans for 2023, well, we're currently drilling at our EB Auto Gold property in Kirkland Lake area. We will continue that drill program until March. It's taking a break right now for the holidays, but we'll resume back in the new year. We're really excited about that. It's a Grassfields gold play in a very prominent camp, great location with the right geological structures. And then after we finish that drill program, it's a small program, at EB Auto, we'll move the drill back to the Castle East, and we will open up that shallow intercept that we recently press released and do a small program there of shallow drill holes to try to define a near surface target.
Okay, the battery metals project in Quebec, is this some kind that you want to spin out of the company, or giving like a dividend for the shareholders, or what's that all about?
Absolutely. So there is a press release that we put out on October 4th. It might change just because time has passed now, but I think the overall structure of the press release will remain pretty stable. So we want to give a share to our current shareholders, roughly at around 17-1. So for every 17 shares of CCW, you get a share in Koniagis Battery Metals plus a half warrant. So the half warrant gives that extra bonus there, and the Graal property will be going into Koniagis Battery Metals, and CCW will retain a good portion of that company to add value to us and for the project.
Okay. You have also a special processing technology for producing cobalt and nickel sulfates. Could you give us a little insight in this?
Sure. It's a closed loop, fully hydrometallurgical process, no smelting. Basically we have taken some of the material from the Castle waste area, and this process was kind of developed in-house out of the cobalt mining camp. And so we were able to remove any deleterious elements, and we were able to produce a 22.6% cobalt sulfate on spec. So we have demonstrated, we produced 200 grams of material in 2018, meeting specifications for industry. So the next steps for us is securing the feed and advancing that process to larger scale. And when we have that feed source, I think we've already demonstrated that we can do it with one specific ore type. Let's expand it to additional ore types. And make sure that this is something that can be monetized and internationalized, because it has some pretty key strengths, not only being able to produce those battery metals, but being able to remove deleterious elements from exotic or complex ores.
How does your shareholder structure look like? Any institutional investors? What's management holding?
Management holds somewhere in the order of 10 to 20%, and the rest is retail. We don't have any major institutional backing right now.
Okay. What's cash in the bank?
The cash in the bank, we're just sitting under $1 million. So we will be looking to refinance and make sure we have the capital needed for doing all the exploration next year.
What are the main catalysts for the next, let's say, 12 months?
Well, I'm very excited to see what comes out of the EV Auto. A great jurisdiction. We have the drill already running this autumn. Of course, the spin out will be a big catalyst. Getting ourselves back at the castle and trying to define that shallow intercepts, I think, will be extremely important. And of course, delivering on technical pieces at the castle. We need to move the mineral resource forward, get more measured and indicated resources. We need to get some engineering work done so we can get into the permitting phase at the Castle East. And that engineering piece will basically complement a lot of the environmental baseline that we've already accomplished. So those catalysts, I think, will be really driving us forward. And we do have some results I'm sure will be coming out in the future around our Quebec battery metals, and we've had a lot of success there.
Sounds great to me, Matthew. Thank you very much for your time and this insight in your terrific company, and all the best. Keep all fingers crossed for your next plans.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was Matthew Halliday, the President and COO of Canada Silver Cobalt, live here from the Mines and Mon in London. I would say do your own research, check out this company, and bye-bye from London.